We need clarity on the question, what makes Jewish music Jewish?
I think this is a complex question, even in phase 2. I'm going to divide it into 3 categories. Music that comes from Judaism, music which is Jewified, for lack of word, and music which is permitted for a Jew. And I'm going to preface with a story, which I read, and I believe it's true. There's a Yid that should live and be well. His name is Rabbi Nachshon, lives in Chanin Fund. He's an artist in whom the Rebbe took a keen interest, and I've seen interviews of his where he tells his own story. And one of the details of the story that he tells, besides the fact that the Rebbe paid for him to go to school, is that the Rebbe said to him that art is a sense, is a talent that no one was ever mavader. I want you to become an artist and to be mavader art. What does that mean? What is the meaning of that expression? Birur is a Kabbalistic term, which has to do with taking from one world and bringing it into another world. Taking it from the Rishus of Choil and bringing it into the Rishus of Kodesh. And the Rebbe proposed to him that when it came to art, this had never been done, and the Rebbe was hoping that he would do it successfully, and that's why the Rebbe invested so much in his education and in his art and so on. So with this little bit of background, let's go back to music. The most Jewish music is music that comes from Judaism itself. For example, the Nagina of Tzaddikim. Right? The Alter Rebbe composed Nagunim, and he was by no means the only one. This Nagina comes from Avodas Hashem. It comes from holiness. It comes from Tzaddikim, who are inspired from on high, and that's the source of their music, period. Perhaps you can include in that category the music that was sung in the Beis HaMikdash, although we don't know what kind of music was sung in the Beis HaMikdash, and we all anticipate Mashiach coming and the Levim becoming incredible musicians and chazonim, and not only singing beautiful music, but creating beautiful music, where the source of the music is connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avodas Hashem. This is a very, very unique class of music, and it's called in our culture Nigunim Mechuvonim, precise Nigunim, because the Nigun speaks something which is coming from another world. But there's another category of Nigun, which is also Kedusha, which is also Yiddishkeit, but its roots are not necessarily Kodesh. When you take something from Choyel and you're mavared it, and of course to a very, very great extent this is the work of Tzaddikim, and you bring it into the Rishus of Kedusha. When a nigun is taken from Choyel and brought into the Rishus of Kedusha, it becomes Jewish music in the most ideal sense of the word. It's not just music which has a Jewish taste or Jewish people sing it, but it's music of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The example which is closest to us is that the Rebbe took the French national anthem and put the words Aderes Emunah to it, and as the Rebbe said in a Sikha once, that the French, for at least a time, changed their anthem to an extent, and the Rebbe saw that as a symptom of Klipa letting go of it, and it coming into the Rishus of Kedusha. We know stories of famous tzaddikim who paid a shepherd to sing a song and sing a song and sing a song until the shepherd lost it, he forgot it, and it became in the Rishus of Kedusha. So right here you have 2 categories of Jewish music. And Jewish music, as I explained it to you in the previous discussion, is music which is directly connected to serving Hashem. Category A is music which comes from the service itself. Category B is the music may come from another source, but it's incorporated into the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a sincere way and in a serious way and in a holy way that it becomes Kodesh. And there are quite a few Nigunim, including Chabad Nigunim, which go into this second category. But I think when you're asking me the question, you're really concerned with the third category. The third category is neither music which comes from Avodas Hashem, nor music which has been transformed with Avodas Hashem, but basically what's the meaning of kosher Jewish music? Kosher Jewish music. Meaning to say, today's Jewish world is saturated with Nagina. There's all kinds of music. And so much of it has an origin which is not Jewish. The specifics are not important at the moment, but it's a fact Some people literally adapt tunes. They simply take tunes that from a Yidden don't know because they don't listen to whatever it is out there in the world, and they put Hebrew words to it, or Torah words to it, or words from Chazal. It becomes Jewish music. And in some cases, a little bit more complicated than that, where the music is actually original, but the beat, the tempo comes from a non-Jewish source, and therefore its origin, its foundation, its basis is not Jewish. And it's incorporated into Jewish life and culture, really, forgive me for speaking honestly about this, for the purposes of entertainment. It's brought into the Jewish world to enrich the sense that to which music appeals, and to give us a certain rush, to give us a certain experience. You cannot say that negina is composed to help you daven better or learn better. It's there to make you feel good. So here, this is a very, very serious question. What music whose origin is not Jewish and whose purpose or whose development is not directly involved in Torah v'Avodah, but it's music which today is very, very wide spread, and it's so widely consumed. It's essentially from non-Jewish sources. It's incorporated into Jewish culture. It has Hebrew words and it has a Hebrew sentiment, but its source and its origin is not Jewish, and its purpose is not directly Avodas Hashem. Its purpose is really entertainment. So what makes it Jewish, or what makes it kosher, what makes it not kosher, and so on. So this is a very, very subjective question. You'll ask this question of 10 people, you get 10 different answers, including those who will tell you that all of it's treif. You're not listening to any music which has a goyish origin. And there's a good basis for that position, because chushim, the senses, are very deep. And when a person, an artist, writes music or draws a painting and so on and so forth, their spirit is in their music. And if their spirit is not kosher spirit, that spirit is reflected in the music in a subliminal way, in a subconscious way. And this is certainly true of music. I tell my students all the time that there's a category from a Yidden that are called Charedim. Charedim. However you translate that in English. But Charedim mean a group of Jews who have around themselves a wall that says we take no dictation from the world. Period. We take no dictation from the world. Our influence is entirely Yiddishkeit. And Hasidim are certainly Charedim. Lubavitcher Hasidim are certainly Charedim. And if you think about it, would you find in a Hasidic house art? Art, benign art. It's not treif, chas v'shalom. It's just not kosher. Even a picture of a bowl of fruit. Would you find such a piece of art in a Hasidic house, in a very frum house? The answer is it's not likely. No, not likely at all. Why? It's not Jewish. Not it's goyish, it's not Jewish. If there'd be art in a Hasidic home, it would be Hasidic art. Someone teaching his child Torah, or Hasidim dancing, or whatever the case is. And the same is true in almost any other area. That there is a wall that separates Charedim from the so-called rest of the world, and we don't take dictation, we don't take influence from outside at all. Everything is our own. Even the food we eat and the clothing we wear is without influence from the outside. The one weak link, I think, is music. You look at the frumest communities, much of the music that people are listening to, and it's absolutely for entertainment value, doesn't have its roots in Kedusha. It's music. Now you're listening to the music, you have no idea where the music came from, and the words are holy, and the inspiration is Yiddish, but it's really basically music for the purposes of entertainment. And it seems to me that music somehow has infiltrated this wall between the world and Charedim like nothing else. I don't think there's anything you compare to this. And this is why this question is so complicated. It's easy to say it's treif, because the truth of the matter is, ultimately, the musician who wrote this music put his soul into this music. I saw from the Rebbe a note to somebody who was a rock and roll star, who was about tshuva, and he wrote to the Rebbe about incorporating the music into Yiddishkeit, and the Rebbe wrote to him about the tempo, about the beat. And it's printed in the Kutasiches, and explained how it doesn't matter what words you put to this music. This music is wild music. And the effect that it has on the person is it makes a person wild. And the basic characteristic that comes from this wildness is prikasol, to throw off a yoke. It's freedom. I can do whatever I want. I can be free of any constraint. Now that sounds like a great idea, and it's very modern, but it's not Jewish. Jewish people have Kabbalah still. We have a certain mashmas, a certain discipline, a certain yoke, yes, and a certain sense that somebody is above me. I can't be free. And much of the music that exists in our culture today has that effect. It's not all so meditative and pensive and serious. Much of it, especially the music that's considered most entertaining and most modern, has a touch of this sense of throwing off all yoke. And even if the words are incredibly meaningful, incredibly beautiful, the effect that the music has on the kids, you see it. You can speak to them and ask them, why are they liking this music rather than this music? Is because the effect it has on them. And it is a psychological effect, which is going out of constraint, which is not part of the way Jewish people live, certainly not the way Haredim live. So the question becomes, what music is Jewish? And again, category A is music that comes directly from Yiddishkeit, from tzaddikim, from the Beis HaMikdash. Category B is music which has been muvurar and included in Avodas Hashem. Category 3, which is arguably a pretty modern phenomenon, I guess in the last century you would put chazonis into category 3, although chazonis is tefillah, but the chazonim were not composing music that came from Avodas Hashem and from his bonus. Many of them were unfortunately not even from. And chazonis absolutely has an entertainment value. The Rabbi Marash says in Asicha Fidik Rebbe, as chazonim seine bederach klal mi machtiyei harab. Baile tefillah seine bederach klal mi mezaki harab. Imagine such a lashon. Chazonim seine bederach klal machtiyei harab. Such a strong lashon. What are chazonim doing wrong? They're standing by the Amid, taking the words of the davening and putting to it beautiful melody. And the answer is because the entertainment component steals the inspiration component in davening. So when you talk about our culture, our community, and the music that we listen to, it's a very serious question. Where is the line between kosher Jewish entertainment and Jewish entertainment which is no longer kosher? And I'm not going to answer the question. I'm really not going to answer the question. But I want to make a simple statement. And the statement is there must be a line. And the line must be drawn seriously, maturely, responsibly, and with the interest of doing the right thing. In other words, you're looking for hetadim, you have hetadim. You want to push the boundaries and say, why can't I have this and why can't I have that? I'm not talking to you. But a person who's sincere about having real values, real principle, when it comes to being a Yid, and knows the power of music, music is incredibly powerful. What music does to us, what music does to our children, the way we listen to it, we put it on a very high tempo, and we want to feel the power of the music. This is not Yiddishkeit, this is Goyishkeit. It's infiltrated, it's invaded our space. So what music you should consider Jewish, and what music you shouldn't consider Jewish, and which musicians, which chazonim we listen to, and which chazonim we don't, I'm not going to answer that question. But I'm going to say this. If you think about our values, and you think about the effect that music has on us, you need to draw a line. You draw the line. But don't draw the line in a way that says, I want to enjoy as much as I could, don't tell me there's anything wrong. Draw the line in the place that says, I want to be a Yid, and I don't want my entertainment to steal or to compromise my Yidhood from me and to me. And on that basis, to determine what music, which usually comes either directly or indirectly, either the melodies or the beat and so on, from a Goyish source, is compromising my identity as a Jew, and which music is not compromising my identity as a Jew.